Hi, my name is Addison, and I'm one of the AQ/IQ mentors for the 2018-2019 school year. And in this tutorial, we're going to go over the Y-Pod and all the sensors inside the Y-Pod, as well as the nuts and washers in case you're out in the field and one of the sensors gets knocked loose. We'll talk about troubleshooting and how each sensor fits into the breadboard of the Y-Pod and how to kind of fix in case you see any of the sensors knocked loose or the washers and nuts. So with that, let's get started. So this is the inside of the standard Y-Pod that you will be using out in the field. We're going to go over where each sensor is located and how it is connected to the circuit board. So here is the CO2 sensor. It's the infrared sensor. It is held together with a 10-sided breadboard and a 4-sided breadboard. And as you can see down here, there is 10 prongs and 4 prongs. So this is just going to lay right in here. Now make sure with this sensor that it is on straight. Sometimes the prongs can miscatch and you will have it turned sideways so it won't collect the data as needed. Next we have our heavy VOC sensor. It is the 2602 here. And there are going to be a couple sensors that are going to be at the top of the circuit board. This is going to be the first one if you're looking at it from straight on, and this will be the first one on the left. It's connected with 4 prongs. And it will just sit in here with the 4 prongs. Just make sure it is in there nice and tight. The next one we have is the light VOC sensor. It is the 2600. It's kind of hard to read because it's a little bit faded, but that's okay. You'll see it out in the field. It is held together with the 4 prongs, and it will go right here in the middle with the 4-prong breadboard that's circular. So this one will just sit in here. And then finally, to complete the 3 up top, we have the metal oxide O3 sensor. It is the MCS 2611, and this will, again, with 4 prongs, just sit on the end here. Red piece here is the disc reader for the card. So this is gonna hold all of your data, so you wanna make sure that this one is in there nice and secure. Obviously, as you can see, it has a lot of prongs here, and it's just going to fit on these small breadboards on the side, nice and tight. However, underneath in most of the boards is a temperature and humidity sensor down in here, and in there, the temperature and humidity sensor is actually soldered to the board, so you don't have to worry about that moving too much. So with that, we're going to stick the card reader back on, and then on the side, you have the GPS locator right here, and this is also soldered to the board. However, it does have some sticky adhesion to keep to the side of the board over here, or the Y-Pod. And if this gets knocked loose, you'll just want to make sure that the sticky part goes back onto the Y-Pod so it doesn't move around whenever you're moving the pod. Now that we went over all the sensors, there are some nuts and washers that are in your Y-Pod. There are 3 that connect the circuit board to the actual pod itself. They're located here, here, and here. Then you also have 8 more that are located on the side where the intake fan is, and those are located 4 on each side, 1, 2, 3, and there's 1 kind of down underneath, and then the same on the other side, 1 underneath, 2, 3, 4. So if you ever see any of the nuts and the washers rattling around in there, just make sure that you know where it's located at and just kind of screw that back on there just to make sure it doesn't damage any of the other equipment or knock any sensors loose as you're moving it. If you have any questions concerning the Y-Pod, or if you have any trouble with the sensors or even lose a sensor out in the field, just contact your AQ/IQ mentor and they'll be able to help you out with the troubleshooting or getting you a new sensor for the project. So with that, thank you for watching this video and have a good day.